Hello, welcome to Screen Talk with yours truly, Nomfanelo. So it has been a while since we last heard from Particle 6. After all this AI Tilly Norwood situation unfolded, but they recently resurfaced, and I will get to that momentarily. So it was over the weekend. I believe it was on Friday. So there's this podcast called The 98%, where essentially focuses on, I guess, providing like resources and tips for actors, I guess, that are considered part of the 98% and all that stuff. So, so of course they chimed in on this whole Tilly Norwood situation. And I saw like on Instagram, the host, I believe her name is Alexandra Morden. She is an actress based in the UK, I believe. So she shared a video um, about Particle 6 here. I will share. So here she's showing the article from Deadline, where they talk about Tilly Norwood. So I'll just read in the description here. So he says, according to the website for Particle 6, um, they were funded by the BFI, which is the British Film Institute. So apparently, her and Pot and the guest Rebecca Osias, they reached out to the BFI for clarification, and apparently they stated that the UK Global Screen Fund Award was granted to Particle 6 and is entirely separate to Sequoia's development of Tilly Norwood, with no crossover in activity or resources. The BFI was not aware of any intention for the development of Sequoia Limited or of Tilly Norwood at the time of application. They say, however, Tilly was heavily featured all over Particle 6's website, with Particle 6 being described as those behind this code posing as an actress. And she found like it was disturbing that apparently £120,000 of public funding was used to support an AI driven approach that spans the entire production process. They mentioned Equity, which is the British Actors Union, made some good statements regarding concerns about the announcement. It says, but maybe some steps and action can be taken about the use of public funding to support creation of technology that literally replaces creatives. Particle 6 also received funding from Channel 4 and plugged in their podcast and all that stuff. So here's the video. She highlights Particle 6, and that's their account on Instagram. And then goes to the website here, scrolls down, and they point out. So they point out, yeah, that the company was supported with funds awarded by the UK Global Screen Fund, which is financed by the UK government and administered by the BFI. Now, if you've seen my first video on Tilly Norwood, I did mention that when I was looking at their website at the time. So let's continue.
Who did it cast?
Tilly Norwood, 100% AI generated.
And yeah, with the comedy sketch here that's shown here, I did a post on Buy Me a Coffee about this, and yeah, I just found that whole video was disturbing, and also too, it's offensive that it's called a comedy sketch when nothing about it is funny. AI aside.
By some company called Particle 6.
She'll do anything I say. I'm already in love.
Girl next door vibes.
So yeah, there is that. So I want to go to the podcast episode where they highlight this section in regards to Particle6 being funded by the BFI.
We were on the website. This wasn't hard to find. If you go on Particle6's website, which Particle6, they tout themselves as the world's leading AI production studio. If you scroll to the bottom, it says Particle6 is supported with funds awarded by the UK Global Screen Fund, financed by the UK government's Department for Culture, Media and Sport, and administered by the BFI. The BFI being the British Film Institute. And when we saw that, Rebecca, what did we think?
I was incensed when I first read that. And I want to say that we did contact the BFI and asked them some pretty hard questions about this piece of information. And again, this is not, we didn't unearth something that's a secret. It is loud and proud on their website for everybody to see. So this is not something top secret that we unearthed. We did contact the BFI and ask for urgent clarification. And what I will say is that the BFI have come back to us to say that the £126,000, which Particle6 was awarded as part of the Global Screen Fund.
Or 120, they say here.
Oh, 120. I think I read if you can actually, again, it's all publicly available information. You can see the award. And I think it was listed in the BFI's distribution sheet as £126,000. So the approximately £120,000 that they were given was, and I'm reading directly from the quote from the BFI press office, the funding, which is designed to support UK screen content businesses across film, TV, animation, and interactive narrative video games to enhance their international activities, was granted to enable the company's international growth strategy over a 3-year period, building on the company's success and track record, including 26 episode series for Sky Kids, and its selection as a Pact Future 30 company, also receiving Channel 4 Emerging Indie Development Fund funding.
Oh, great. We've got another Channel 4 have funded them too. Wonderful.
So they say, the BFI was not aware of any intention for the development of Tilly Norwood at the time of the application.
And they also say, you know, the Tilly Norwood / AI actress activity is being developed by a company called Sequoia Limited with work undertaken by Particle6 as part of a service agreement. The Tilly Norwood activity has therefore not been funded by the UK Global Screen Fund Award and is entirely separate with no crossover in any activity or resources. But all you have to do is watch the video where they introduce Tilly on Particle6, where they say Tilly is created by Particle6. They don't say it's created by Sequoia. They say it's created by Particle6 multiple times. Mine and Rebecca's concern was when you apply for funding, you have to give like a 3 to 5 year business plan. And all over their website and social media, it's how they're the leading world 100% AI generated, you know, production company. That must have been in their business plan. If it wasn't, then something serious is going on and they should have to give the money back, because you can't just fabricate or falsify like your business plan. But if they were,
I imagine that with Particle6, because I imagine that with I assume like the funding is more like a grant, and you probably have to be very transparent with that stuff. Let's say they did not mention the plans for Tilly Norwood for this 3-year plan, then that I imagine that's goes against the terms and conditions of the funding itself. As for the episode, I'll leave a link in the description if you guys want to check that out. So I'm on the website for BFI. Here is their section for the UK Global Screen Fund. So essentially, it says here that it's designed to boost international development, production, distribution, and promotional opportunities for the UK's independent screen sector. I'm just going to skip here. So they have 3 different strands here. So there's international distribution. That's for sales and distribution for, they say, 1 or more UK feature films for international territories. The second one here is international business development, which is financial support for business strategies that drive international growth and IP development for companies working film, TV, and interactive narrative gaming. And the third is international co-production support for UK companies to be partners in international production, sharing IP and revenue on TV and film projects with audience potential. And then they have info for the different the strands they have here. So I imagine for Particle6, most likely it's either the business develop one that they applied for, or maybe one of like international co-production, but I imagine it's more for the business develop strand. Sorry. So, So apparently it says eligible companies, you can apply for one of two tracks, either the film transformation track or the general track. And I don't know, based on what we've seen in Particle6 so far, I imagine it's probably for general track, if I were to guess. And then it shows here who can apply. And then it shows the priorities. I'm just gonna skip this. So apparently, in terms for the application process, you have to provide details on the company, innovative 3-year business strategy for international growth, most recent sets of annual accounts. So essentially, you have to provide all your accounts, like all the financial stuff. Like ownership, it says you have business plan mentioned, a detailed budget. I think for grants in general, you have to be very like detailed and transparent with that stuff. If the money was to be used for something else other than what was stated in the application, goes against terms and conditions. And I imagine here if this is no exception. I'll leave a link to this if you guys want to check this out. As for Particle6, when you scroll down, it still mentions here that, yeah, they're supported with funds awarded by the UK Global Screen Fund, which is financed by the UK's government's Department for Culture, Media and Sport, and administered by the BFI. Not long after the episode, Deadline published this article. It says, Tilly Norwood creator says no BFI funding was used to develop AI actress. So says here, the creator of Tilly Norwood stressed that she has not developed using funding from the BFI. So she shared a statement with Deadline clarifying how her company used a grant from the UK Global Screen Fund. So we shared like what 98 Podcast had to say on this. So apparently, Van der Velden, it's kind of like a tongue twister. Van der Velden said that with the grant they received from BFI in November 2023 was entirely unrelated to Tilly. And then apparently a BFI spokeswoman echoed this statement. So apparently, with Eline stated that with Tilly was funded and developed through Sequoia, a separate company established back in February. So it says the IP is owned by Sequoia, with Particle6 providing support under a service agreement. It says it's a more nuanced picture than the one described over the summer when Norwood soft launched and Particle6 repeatedly and proudly claimed credit for creating the computer-generated star. It says, yeah, so she said in 2023, Particle6 was proud and deeply grateful to receive support through the BFI. Says, in line with terms of the grant, all funding was dedicated exclusively to advancing our international growth strategy. This included key initiatives such as attending overseas markets and conferences, acquiring new IP, and engaging a head of international outreach, all of which were fully approved and communicated with the BFI. This outreach role began as a consultancy position, and as our ambitions grew, The senior industry executive who initially served as our consultant became Particle6's chief commercial officer in summer 2025. It's important to note that the grant is entirely unrelated to Sequoia, which was established back in February and formally announced in September. They say Sequoia and its first AI talent, Tilly, were funded. So Tilly was launched publicly in July 2025 with that dumb comedy sketch video. So apparently, yeah, they were fully funded. So Eline funded Sequoia and Tilly. It says, as an AI talent studio, Sequoia operates as an independent company while maintaining a service agreement with Particle6. Particle6 continues to thrive as a diverse production company, creating across AI, traditional TV, and commercial formats. So, a spokesperson for BFI said that the grant was granted to Particle6 and is entirely separate to Sequoia's development of Tilly Norwood. With no crossover in activity or resources, the BFI was not aware of any intention for the development of Sequoia Limited or of Tilly Norwood at the time of application. Velden added the BFI plays a vital role in strengthening and future-proofing the UK screen sector, and countless creative companies, including ours, that have benefited from support. We share BFI's belief that innovation and responsibility must go hand in hand. It's June 2025 report, AI in screen sector. Says outlines a clear, forward-looking framework for ethical, sustainable AI integration. Particle6 and Sequoia are proud to align with this vision and remain committed to contributing positively to the UK's reputation for creativity, innovation, and integrity. If that's the case, where like the funding that the company received from BFI was not used for Tilly, I'm like, okay, but I think there needs to be like full transparency on that stuff. As far as I could tell from the BFI with their site, I don't think they stated anywhere saying that you cannot, the money cannot be used for AI projects and all that stuff, unless if it's somewhere that I didn't see. But we'll see like where this goes, because I am also curious too, because it also mentioned that Channel 4, I believe, funded Particle6, and where can I find that on the website? Yeah, because it says here, yeah, that they are recipients of funding from BFI, Channel 4, and Creative UK, and I'm wondering if the other companies, are they going to comment on this, or will they keep quiet? Who knows at this point. It seems like with the whole Tilly stuff, it's still growing. It's still growing, and I don't think it's going to go away any time soon, especially since I believe it's next year when a lot of the guilds have to go. They have to negotiate with the studios at AMPTP, I believe, and I imagine with this is going to be a top priority, at least hopefully. So before I wrap up this video, I do want to share some updates. So I think in the last video that I did where I covered Tilly Norwood, I did mention that the musician Stella Hennon shared online that Tilly resembled her a lot. She did interview with Slate and did a video post on that on her socials. By mentioning that at the time, I was hoping that there was no more people that would claim, but unfortunately, the opposite happened. Apparently, Scottish actress, her name is Briony Monroe. She came forward to saying that that Tilly essentially resembled her a lot. So here is a clip that Equity posted on their socials, where Briony was being interviewed. I believe it's by BBC Scotland.
I looked at this picture of this AI generated actress and was like, wow, that actually is me.
Well, I spoke to actress Briony Monroe earlier about the resemblance between her and the AI actress.
there have been so many people's work that have been stolen off of, and not even actresses, but set design, hair and makeup, costume. You know, AI systems need to be trained, but they're trained off of human work. So I think my major concern with it is you don't know what it can be used for, you know, because once it's out there, it's out there. And I feel like AI should absolutely not be used as a replacement for real life people and their work. I'm just going to continue to speak out about it. I've been in contact with Equity, which is the Actors Union. They've been absolutely amazing at trying to tackle this for me. They've been very, very hands-on, which is great. You know,
So that's what she had to share there on that interview. And I did see, I believe it was Equity, they shared article on The Guardian where essentially with Equity, they're threatening action over the use of actors' images for the AI stuff without consent, essentially. Because it says here that the union says growing numbers of its members have made complaints about infringements of copyright in AI material. Says the Performing Arts Union Equity has threatened direct action over tech and entertainment companies' use of its members' likeliness, images, and voices in AI content without permission. The warning came as the union said growing numbers of its members had made complaints about infringements of their copyright and misuse of their personal data and AI material. General Secretary Paul W. Fleming said it planned to coordinate data requests en masse to companies to force them to disclose whether they use members' data and AI generate material without consent. And then, they talked about Briony here. Like I just shared the clip here. It said, and apparently says here that Sequoia apparently denied their claims, which I'll be honest, I'm not surprised at this point. It says most of the complaints Equity has received from members concern AI generated voice replicas. Fleming said the union has already helped members make subject access requests to producers and tech companies, which fail to provide satisfactory explanations about where the data they use to create AI content came from. Let's see here. So AI companies need to know that we'll be putting in these subject access requests en masse. They have a statutory obligation to respond if an individual member reasonably believes that their data is being used without their consent. We want to find out. And I've been seeing like so far, at least people are pleased that with Equity are taking a very strong stance with this in regards to the whole Tilly Norwood AI situation and all that stuff. So yeah, I commend them for that. We'll see like if this is going to turn into legal action at the end. But yeah, I'll leave a link to this if you guys want to read it. And I did see another post from them where they shared from The Guardian where actress Olivia Williams said that actors need nudity writer type controls for AI body scans. Apparently, she says that performers are regularly pressed to have body scanned on set with few rights over how data is used. So this was also from The Guardian, and then essentially it goes on from there. And I did see the actress Billy Gilpin. I remember her from Glow, and she has done other work since. So she penned this open letter on the Hollywood Reporter talking about Tilly Norwood. So the full article is in the description, but I'll just share what was said here on the slide. She says, "Dear Tilly Norwood, they tell me you're an actress in a computer. I'm an actress and almost 40. Let's talk. When I was your age, well, wait, no, you are both infant and immortal like Thor in a diaper. I mean, when I was starting out in my career like you, this very thing happened. An actress older than me pulled me aside and gave me advice. While I myself was certainly never AI hot, I had a few good years of human hot during which construction workers on canal and moguls at Sugarfish would stammer at my silhouette. It felt like power, but then they treat me like property, and that felt like handcuffs. Maybe that's why you were created, property without zits or opinions. I wonder if an eyelash or a tooth shine of mine from a screenshot 20 years ago is one speck of your billions of hot young actress mosaic that is your not real face. I don't look like that anymore, Tilly. My face has some wrinkles now from sleeping, peace, from laughing, joy, from crying, experience, from sun, nature, and pollution, New fucking York. Soon it will have more. My algorithm now suggests various surgeries and sparrow semen serums to look more like you, Till. It's tempting. You look good, but you look empty. You don't make me feel like my cells are trading with yours. You make me feel alone. I looked up your creator, Tilly. We were born in the same year. I wonder if she feels like I do at 39, stepping down from the pedestal of youth to see who's waiting in the meadow for the good stuff. Let's be clear, I'm an actor, but not a pro bono aw shocks activist just elevating stories because I'm incredible. I'm a narcissist with a theater degree, and I take out my tits and memorize words for any corporation that will give me snacks. And that way, you and I are alike. We can both be wish fulfillment, monetize escape. But take it from a depressive who disappears too often into toilet scrolling. Too much of that will be the end of us. While we can both be loneliness, candy, you can't be the other invisible thing, the vital thing, the thing we have to keep shoulder tapping one another about in meadows, actors or not. Tilly, you cannot look up and become half of someone because you are no one. Go home, Tilly. And I'll just end it right there. So I found that was quite excellent that Betty Gilpin wrote this. So that pretty much concludes this video. I want to know, like, what are your thoughts on all this? So, what do you think about Eline's response to the company with the BFI funding not being for Tilly and all that stuff? I just think, yeah, there needs to be full transparency on that stuff because it's clear at this point Sequoia and Particle 6 are intertwined. So yeah, I don't know if anyone's gonna believe what Eline is saying and all that stuff. So, and also too, I'm surprised that she said something, especially since after closing off the comment section after the backlash when this whole thing started. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on all of this stuff. If you want to support me, you can visit buymeacoffee.com/Nomfanelo, where you could donate and also to look at exclusive posts there. Also, too, I have a community tab on YouTube. So if you're a subscriber, feel free to leave comments there as long as it's under community guidelines. And if you want to follow me on social media, my links are in the description. I want to say thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to catch you on the next one.